Hey team, so in this lesson we're going to talk about what a rocket is. So I did a little Google search for the definition of a rocket, and I wasn't really happy with what I found. So you're going to get my specific explanation and answer for what a rocket is. And in sort of textbook definition terms, I would say it's an object or a vehicle that uses energy stored in the object or vehicle to propel it to high speeds traveling through Earth or space, or from Earth to space. So rockets are unique in that they are the best way to get something moving extremely fast, so to give it momentum. So airplanes are cool, but they require air in the atmosphere. So if you're going to go to outer space and travel in outer space, there is no air in outer space. So you have to have some other method for getting your rocket or your object moving in a certain direction. And you can't use air anymore. That's why they're called airplanes. And so for a rocket to get to outer space and stay in outer space, you have to impart a huge amount of momentum on that object. So say you were trying to get a football to outer space, you were like throwing it like a football. The way outer space and orbit works is you'd have to throw it so hard and so fast that instead of falling back down to the earth, it would have so much momentum going sideways that it just continued around the earth without ever touching the ground again. So that's how rockets work. It's the cannonball arm of force that is so powerful and so strong that it never touches the earth again. It gets the object or the vehicle moving so fast outside of the atmosphere that once it's up there, it never comes down again. And that's how you travel in outer space. And so the way one of the Google definitions, it said a rocket is anything that gains thrust from a rocket engine, which I thought was a little unfair because you're using a rocket engine to define a rocket. But most of these rockets, yes, they do produce thrust, which we're going to talk a whole much more later about from engines. And what that usually looks like is exhaust gases and really hot smoke and fire coming out of the end of the rocket, and that is what is pushing it forward. And so you don't need to remember a ton of that, but just remember that rockets are extremely powerful, and they use rocket engines to gain a lot of momentum because a lot of momentum is required to escape Earth's gravity. And they can't use air in the atmosphere because there's no air in outer space to produce their thrusts.